York, 1943. One of the most dangerous men who ever lived died quietly. Nikola Tesla wasn't a general, a politician, or a prophet, but his ideas shook empires, not because of what he built, but because of what he discovered. Energy doesn't need wires, permits, or fuel, and the human mind, if it can learn to vibrate right, can change reality. A few days after he died, in room 3327 of the New Yorker hotel, they found a leather notebook among his things. It had no name, no date, no formulas, just one handwritten line. What you are about to read is not taught, it is remembered. This wasn't a scientific paper, it was a message of vibration, a final note for anyone in the future who could understand it. Tesla wasn't writing to scientists. He was speaking to those who can listen beyond sound, to those who feel electricity not just moves machines, but also moves fate. If you're reading this, maybe it's not an algorithm. It could be a frequency that's already inside you. Chapter 1. Frequency and Vibration, the Universe's Hidden Language. When he was a kid, walking through the hills of Smiljan, Nikola stopped by a lone tree that seemed to shake, not from wind or cold, but from some kind of vibration like music only he could hear. He stayed there for hours, his hand on the trunk, as if tuning himself to its rhythm. Years later, he said this was the moment he realized the universe doesn't speak in words, but in frequencies. Stones, trees, the human body, light, thoughts, planets, they all vibrate, pulse, send signals, and respond. But most people hear only noise, see only things, not the motion that keeps them alive. Tesla didn't want to invent new energy. He wanted to understand the energy already there, the frequency that's been around since the beginning, the universal wave that's all around us but invisible. Picture the universe as a huge, invisible ocean. Everything, your body, mind, feelings, is a drop in that ocean, and each drop makes waves that spread, clash, blend, or push away other waves. That's frequency. It's not just a science term. It's a living language the universe uses to connect, organize, create, and sync everything. Tesla knew that matter isn't solid, it's just vibration that's paused. And thought isn't just private noise, it's a real wave that can change your body and everything around you. That's why he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think about energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything you want, health, love, clarity, abundance, truth, is already out there on some frequency. But you won't see or feel it if your body and mind don't match that frequency. Your heart creates an electric field, your brain a magnetic one, your emotions a vibration, your words are waves. You're not just flesh, you're a conscious antenna built to send and receive. That's why some people make you uneasy the moment they walk into a room without saying a word. And some places make you feel calm even when it's totally silent, because frequency comes before words. Vibration reveals what the ego hides. Tesla knew the universe doesn't answer empty prayers. It responds to true feelings that keep the vibration alive. If your feeling is steady, if your intention is clear and strong, the universe gets it as a signal and answers. This isn't magic, it's physics. Energy isn't lost, it just changes form. Every time you think with feeling, you send a message to the field. You might not have realized it, but you've always been creating your reality, just at random, unconscious frequencies. Now that you know, you can choose how to vibrate, not to force or grab things, but to tune yourself to your true reality. The universe doesn't answer what you say you want. It answers what you actually vibrate, what you hold inside quietly, what your energy repeats without words. That's the secret. The universe doesn't listen to your voice. It listens to your frequency. If you get this, you won't ask, why isn't what I want happening? You'll ask, what am I sending without knowing? And start tuning yourself like a sacred instrument. Tesla died quietly, but his body was just the physical part. His message is still out there. If this idea speaks to you, it's because you're on this frequency too. In the next chapter, we'll explore the mystery of the ether, the invisible stuff Tesla called the real body of the universe. But for now, remember, there's no solid matter, only vibration that forgot it's really light, and you're waking up to its frequency. Chapter 2. The Ether, the Universal Substance. Science tried to ignore for centuries whys. People long ago felt that the space between things wasn't empty, that silence had its own pattern, and that the universe was connected by vibration, not just distance. One afternoon, as a storm was coming, Tesla quietly said, "What's between that lightning and me is what they fear most." When a student asked if he meant the wind, Tesla smiled and said, "No, I mean the ether." For centuries, people talked about the ether as a gentle force between atoms, an invisible stuff that connects everything. They called it the world spirit, the soul of all things. Even though modern science tried to dismiss it, Tesla never forgot because he could feel it. To him, this eternal force wasn't just an idea, it was real both physically and spiritually. A shapeless ocean of energy filling the universe, the medium through which vibrations move, letting feelings travel all the way from a person to a star. He believed electricity, light, and thought were just visible signs of an invisible cause, and that cause, the great network, was the ether. Science, influenced by those who wanted a world of just matter without spirit, decided to reject the idea. In 1887, a famous experiment claimed the ether didn't exist. The vacuum is empty, they said, and suddenly the universe was seen as a cold, lifeless machine. But Tesla knew they misunderstood. The ether can't be caught by simple tools. It's subtle, organized, and smart. He didn't try to find it with machines. He felt it in his body, his intuition, and in the tiny sparks around him. Think of the ether as an invisible sea. You can't see it, but everything floats in it. Your thoughts stir it, your feelings color it, your words change its shape. What seems solid is just a local swirl, like a whirlpool in water or a note in music. When you lose touch with the ether, life feels mechanical. Your soul gets stuck in logic and everything seems random because you stop hearing those invisible signals and forget that it's all about tuning in. Tesla saw the body as a receiver, consciousness as a transmitter, and the ether as the field connecting them. When you think with feeling, you don't just think. You create a wave that moves through the ether everywhere, because the ether is all about resonance. When you connect with a stranger, feel something without knowing why, or get an idea that feels like it came from somewhere else, that's not magic. It's the ether. The biggest mistake of the modern world wasn't losing faith in God, but losing the sense of the ether. Losing the ether meant losing the link between matter and soul. They hid it because you can't measure or control it. If you accept the universe as a living field, then you are part of that field. You don't need temples, teachers, or rules, just silence, tuning, and presence. Tesla respected the field deeply. In the ether are stored thoughts, memories, and life impulses. The clearer your own field, the stronger your signal. The universe isn't separate from you. You live inside it, breathe it, sense it, and create within it. The question isn't if the ether exists, but what you're doing with each thought you send into this sacred field. In the next chapter, we'll look at one of Tesla's toughest moments, the destruction of his tower, the betrayal that silenced him, and the harsh effort to erase his message. But keep in mind, what we see starts in the invisible, and the ether is still waiting for you to recognize it. Chapter 3. Free Energy and Sabotage, the Wardencliff Story. On a hill in Long Island, early in the 1900s, stood a tower almost 60 meters tall. It had no crosses, no bells, but it scared power more than any church, bank, or government. This was Wardencliff Tower, Tesla's biggest experiment, a tower that, if it worked, would have changed human history. Most people know Tesla for alternating current, but the real threat was not sending electricity, it was freeing it. He found that the Earth itself was like a giant battery, and that the air, full of ether, could carry energy without wires, fuel, or power plants. This was the idea of free energy. It wasn't magic. Tesla wasn't breaking physics. He was discovering energy is everywhere, and with the right tools, it can be captured, amplified, and sent out. Wardencliff wasn't just a tower. It was a statement. Energy belongs to everyone. Tesla wanted to send electricity from there anywhere on Earth, like a radio sending out power instead of sound, only vibration, resonance, and freedom. But freedom has enemies. When J.P. Morgan, who first funded the project, found out Tesla wanted to give energy away instead of selling it, he pulled his support immediately. "Where do I put the meter?" Morgan asked. And with that question, Wardencliff was doomed. The tower was abandoned, Tesla's reputation ruined, his papers taken, and free energy written off as a myth. The tower was torn down, not because it failed technically, but because powerful people couldn't allow a world without energy control. The biggest loss was symbolic. Tesla didn't just build towers, he built awareness. What was destroyed was humanity's chance to realize it doesn't need permission to live in plenty. Free energy isn't just science, it's inner freedom. If the universe is vibration and you are vibration, energy is inside you. You don't need to beg for it. You just need to remember it, channel it, and direct it. When they say you must pay to connect, they're cutting you off from your source, making you weak, controlled, and dependent. Tesla didn't want to destroy systems. He wanted to align humanity with the universal right to access energy, information, knowledge, and truth. Imagine a world where electricity is free, cities breathe clean air, and no one suffers energy poverty. That was Wardencliff. It was a body without fear, a mind without limits, and a spirit without masters. That's why they shut him down. Not for what he did, but for what he could inspire. Tesla said, "When science studies non-physical things, it will make more progress in 10 years than in all past centuries." That time isn't tomorrow or yesterday, it's now. Because you're hearing this, and something inside you remembers what that tower stood for. Wardencliff wasn't failure, it's a buried seed waiting for the right vibration to wake it up. In the next chapter, we'll explore Tesla's obsession with the numbers 3, 6, and 9, which he believed held the key to the universe. But before that, remember, energy isn't bought, it's remembered, and once remembered, it can't be controlled. Chapter 4, the 369 Code, the numbers that unlock universal vibes. Tesla used to walk around buildings 3 times before going in. Count his steps, count silverware, wash his hands 3 times. Some thought he was obsessive or maybe even a little crazy, but he knew better. For him, this wasn't a quirk, it was a secret code. He once said, if you really understood the power of 3, 6, and 9, you'd have the key to the universe. People have quoted him, misunderstood him, or dismissed these numbers for years, but they never stopped to ask why these numbers mattered. This wasn't about superstition or numerology, it was about resonance. Everything in the physical world vibrates, and every vibration follows a pattern. When these patterns create shapes, we hear harmony. And that's where numbers stop being just symbols and become laws of nature. Look around. Nature repeats patterns everywhere. In planet orbits, DNA spirals, seashells, flower petals, tree branches, even galaxies. Many of these patterns skip 3, 6, and 9. Why? Because those three numbers don't follow the usual rules. They're different, like conductors leading an orchestra instead of just playing an instrument. Tesla saw 3 as the vibration of beginnings, growth, and return, like a cycle of birth, growth, and release. 6 stood for structure. Think of honeycombs, crystals, cells, the organized side of energy. 9 was about completion, the spirit that finishes a cycle. Tesla said that when you keep a thought inside this 3 to 6 to 9 rhythm, it lines up with the universe's pattern, making it stronger and more creative. This isn't a magic trick, it's a kind of spiritual technology. Today, lots of people laugh at numerology, but Tesla's idea was bold. He was talking about a kind of spiritual engineering. Why pay attention? Because your thoughts have their own rhythm. Random, messy thoughts break your energy and drain you, but focused, organized thoughts connect you to the universe's flow. And just like the number 9, what you send out comes back to you. Tesla kept some secrets to himself, hiding others in habits and routines. His focus on these numbers wasn't madness, it was a message. And now, that message might be starting to click with you. Next up, we'll dive into how the human body isn't just a container for energy, but a living coil that can boost, send, and change the frequencies that shape your world. But for now, remember this. 3 creates, 6 organizes, 9 completes. And once you get that, you stop living by chance. Chapter 5. The Body as a High-Frequency System. Back in the early 1900s, someone asked Tesla if he believed in the soul. He smiled and said, "I don't need that word. I know the human body is a receiver." That phrase hit like quiet lightning. Many didn't get it, but Tesla wasn't talking about belief. He meant frequency. Tesla believed the human body is like a biological antenna made to pick up, boost, and send out energy. While others looked at the body as just a machine, he saw it as a system of resonance, a living Tesla coil that catches energy from the environment and sends signals back out. What's a coil? It's a shape that creates an electromagnetic field. The more perfect its shape, the stronger the signal. Sound familiar? Your spine, nerves, and cells all work like coils channeling energy. Tesla said every part of your body has its own frequency. When your body is balanced, it sends out a strong, clear signal. But when you're stressed, angry, or scared, that signal gets messy, like a coil that's come undone or a tower that's fallen. In his lab, Tesla played with high-frequency energy, watched electricity move through the air without wires, and said, "The human body works the same way, we just haven't learned to read it." Every thought you hold, every feeling you repeat, every word you say shapes your energy field, which stretches out several feet beyond your skin. Others can sense it, your surroundings respond to it, and it even affects reality. You're not just living inside a body. You are your energy field, and your field never lies. Tesla noticed certain moods block energy flow. People who are tired, sad, or angry don't send out energy well. They're weaker and less vibrant. But when you're calm, focused, and inspired, your body acts like a perfect coil, channeling, sending, creating. He wasn't talking about spirituality, but about science. Frequency, voltage, harmony. Tesla believed the body could become its own energy source. If you got everything lined up, your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions all working together, then your body wouldn't need outside energy. It would be its own generator, its own tower, its own coil. That's true energy freedom. Whenever you say one thing, think another, and feel something different, your energy gets confused, and the universe can't read your signal. Not because it won't help, but because your frequency is mixed up. Tesla lived this truth. He spoke little, thought clearly, felt deeply, and sent out clean signals. His body was his transmitter, every action a message. Have you noticed what your body sends out? How your energy shifts when you're calm? how people can read you without words. Your body isn't a cage, it's a tool, a living coil, and when you master it, energy flows freely. Next, we'll talk about focused thought, how your mind not only creates ideas but also sends out energy fields that change matter itself. For now, remember, your body doesn't end at your skin, it vibrates beyond, and your energy field is always talking. Chapter 6, Directed Thought. How the mind creates vibration. Tesla didn't talk much about spirit or visualization. To him, thought was something real and powerful. He said, "My brain is only a receiver. There's a core in the universe that gives us knowledge, strength, and inspiration." He said this like an engineer, confident in what he meant. For Tesla, thinking wasn't just imagining. It was sending out a signal, a vibration moving through the invisible field that connects everything. Thinking is vibrating, and vibrating is creating. From a young age, Tesla trained his mind to picture things so clearly he could build whole machines in his head before ever making them, and they always worked perfectly. While others drew blueprints, he felt how every part would move, its weight, friction, and balance, all inside his mind. It wasn't just talent, it was training his vibration. He knew the mind isn't passive, it's a generator. Every focused, emotional thought sends energy out. Think of a stone dropped into a lake. That's a thought, and the ripples are how your mind's energy spreads. Most people throw stones randomly, making noise without direction. That's most thinking, chaotic and scattered. But Tesla knew a focused mind shapes the body and reality because everything solid started as vibration, and that vibration often begins in the mind. Think about people who seem to attract what they want easily, or those stuck in negative cycles. It's not luck, it's what they're sending out. The mind creates your reality. If you don't control your thoughts, outside forces do it for you. Fear, the news, other voices. Tesla carefully chose his thoughts, knowing everyone leaves a mark. Energy follows thought, he said, and strong, clear, emotional thoughts can change your body and energy around you. Science today agrees. Studies show thoughts affect your heart, immune system, even DNA and quantum matter. Tesla didn't need experiments, he lived it. Most people think like they're yelling randomly in a forest, hoping someone hears. Tesla thought like someone tuning a radio. He adjusted his intention, matched his feelings, and waited patiently. Random thinking stirs up dust. Purposeful thinking builds invisible bridges to new possibilities. How do you direct thought? Not by forcing, but by being clear. First, feel what you want. Then pick a clear image that matches that feeling. Repeat it calmly and fully. Then let go, because a clear signal doesn't need to shout. Tesla didn't teach techniques directly. His life was the lesson. His towers, coils, and fields all started in his mind, which was a clean, focused channel. Your mind is too, only it's been crowded by noise, doubt, and distraction. Clear it, focus it, direct it, and it will send strong signals again. When it does, reality responds. Next, we'll talk about the inner tower, the invisible structure Tesla built inside himself after his outer tower was destroyed. But for now, remember, a focused thought is an eternal spark. What you hold clearly doesn't need force, just vibration. Chapter 7, The Inner Tower, Tesla's energy system within. When Wardencliff Tower was torn down, Tesla didn't fight back. No yelling, no threats, just silence. He walked away, looked up at the sky, and said, "They failed to destroy my tower because they didn't realize the real one was already built inside me." Many thought he was speaking metaphorically, but he wasn't. It was about energy. Tesla knew Wardencliff Tower wasn't just a machine. It was a symbol, a physical copy of something already in his inner energy field. A self-powered system connected to the universal field. able to send vibrations from mind to matter. When he saw the world wasn't ready to receive free energy from outside, he turned inward and activated a transmitter no one could break, his own consciousness. That changed everything. If the body is a coil and the mind the transmitter, then your whole energy field can become a living tower, able to capture, boost, and send energy without needing machines. That was Tesla's real revolution, not building outside devices, but waking up the internal generator inside each person. He believed people could function like steady towers, tuned to the ether, attracting ideas, solutions, and connections, not by force, but by resonance. But to do that, your inner tower has to be solid. It needs strong foundations, clear values, purpose, and direction, clean emotions without fear, self-deception, or conflict, and a mind focused in silence and connection to what really matters. Tesla worked on building this inner tower for years. While others mocked him or called him crazy, he kept tuning his energy. He treated his body like a precision instrument, avoiding meat, sleeping little, meditating, though he didn't call it that, caring about his thoughts, words, and feelings. He knew any inner disturbance would mess up his signal. He didn't want noise. He wanted to send truth. This inner tower needs no permits, no investors, no wires, just presence, will, focus, and the quiet decision to rebuild yourself inside. Tesla showed us the greatest sabotage wasn't the destruction of his tower, but the one we accept when we give our energy to outside systems, believe power is somewhere else, and forget we are transmitters ourselves. You've already started building your tower. You won't see it with your eyes, but you'll feel it in your energy, in how you move, decide, and vibrate. Someone with an inner tower doesn't need to push or control. Just their presence changes the environment. Tesla didn't have to defend himself because he wasn't just a man anymore. He was a transmitter, and his signal still echoes today. Next, we'll talk about mental noise, the biggest interference that blocks your signal and cuts you off from your center. But before that, remember this. You have a tower inside you. When you remember that, no one can control your energy. Chapter 8. Mental Noise. What blocks your true frequency? Tesla wasn't quiet because he was shy. He was precise. He spoke little, and when he did, every word felt carefully chosen, clear and direct, like a clean signal. He didn't tolerate unnecessary noise, not just outside noise, but the noise inside your own mind. He said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of frequency. But remember, where there's noise, there's no clear signal. Tesla knew the mind is like a sensitive electromagnetic space, and how well it works depends on how much interference it has. Random thoughts, constant worries, pointless inner chatter, old grudges, and negative beliefs from the world. That's mental noise. And mental noise messes up the signal you're sending. It doesn't matter how high your vibration is if your frequency is full of static. No matter how clear your goals are, if your mind is noisy, it won't reach them. Noise cuts you off from the ether, makes you unpredictable, and worse, it tricks you into thinking the problem is outside of you. Tesla practiced what we'd now call functional silence. Not some mystical meditation, but a way to clear the mind so energy can flow smoothly. In that quiet state, ideas came to him clearly and fully, without interference. What causes mental noise? More than just stress. It makes you open to other people's thoughts, brings confusing situations, repeats old patterns you don't need, lowers your emotional energy, and worst of all, throws off your frequency. It's like having a fancy antenna that's dusty, out of tune, and surrounded by static. No matter how much you want to attract or create, your signal won't get through. Tesla built everything around one simple rule: minimum loss, maximum efficiency. His mind worked the same way. He didn't waste energy on pointless thoughts, pointless fights, or let outside voices drown out his own. Most people live with constant interference: social media, news, opinions, criticism, guilt, doubts, fears, and then wonder why they can't find peace or clarity. The answer is simple. They're trying to send signals from chaos. The universe responds to clear, steady signals, not desperation, and clarity comes from silence. It's not about stopping thoughts, it's about better quality thinking, lowering the volume inside, choosing carefully, tuning your mind. Like a machine needs oil, silence is the lubricant for your brain. Tesla said many of his best ideas came while walking alone, without trying, just giving space for the universe to speak, and it spoke, not in words, but in vibrations he knew how to understand. Today, we live in the exact opposite. Screens all day, non-stop messages, shallow talks, opinions disguised as facts, endless thoughts that aren't even ours. So the soul feels cut off because the channel is overloaded. If you want to get your frequency back, you have to clear the line. And silence isn't emptiness, it's a tool. It's the vibration technology that lets the real signal reach you. In the next chapter, we'll look at the rhythm of manifestation, how the universe responds not just to what you think, but to how and when you send out your energy. For now, remember this. The universe is listening, but only to clear signals, and clarity comes from silence. Chapter 9. The Rhythm of Manifestation, Timing Your Energy with the Universe. Tesla never rushed. His ideas, experiments, and life all moved at their own pace. People said he could spend weeks in silence, building nothing, just observing, thinking, tuning himself for what was to come. Energy shows up when the field is ready for it, he said, like he knew a law not found in textbooks. Today, everyone talks about manifesting, attracting, and creating their reality, but few mention the most important thing: rhythm. The universe doesn't answer to how badly you want something. It responds to how perfectly your frequency matches its timing. And that timing isn't just about vibration, it's about when. Tesla watched how nature works without stress. Seasons don't hurry, trees don't force fruit, seeds don't yell to bloom. Things happen when their time comes, when the whole system is in sync. Your thoughts work the same way. Just visualizing or wishing isn't enough. Repeating affirmations won't do it either. Manifestation happens when your inner vibration lines up with a real opening in the outside world, when your mind and the universe meet in frequency and time. Tesla understood this. That's why he never forced his inventions. Many of his discoveries came after others failed. He didn't try to push ideas. He waited for the right moment, the right energy, the perfect match of intention, vibration, and timing. In the universe's big symphony, the winner isn't the loudest player. It's the one who joins in at the right note. Have you taken time to tune your rhythm? Or are you pushing for results before the space is ready? Anxiety breaks the flow, rushing distorts your signal. Desperation shatters your focus, and without focus, nothing new can be created. Tesla built machines like parts of a balanced ecosystem. It wasn't enough that they worked. They had to work in harmony with their materials, environment, and energy flow. Your life is the same. Not everything you want is ready to come to you. Often what you ask for has nowhere to land yet. The universe is precise. When your vibration is ready, your mind tuned, and your field clear of noise, what you want will appear, not by magic, but by perfect resonance. Think about hitting a note on a guitar that's out of tune. It might sound, but it won't last or blend. Now think about playing that note perfectly on a well-tuned instrument. That's manifestation. Tesla said, electricity flows by smooth movement, not by force. For flow to continue, it needs little resistance and steady rhythm. That's why he never rushed for fast results. He asked for clarity, alignment, and silence. And when everything was ready, he let it flow, created. You can do the same. But before trying to change the world, ask yourself, am I tuned? Am I in sync? Am I in rhythm? Next, we'll talk about the soul as an endless energy source, how beyond machines and bodies there's a power inside that never runs out if you know how to keep it going. For now, remember, nothing true arrives in a rush. It comes when you're ready to hold it, and when it does, it flows without struggle. Chapter 10. The Soul as an Endless Energy Source. When machines failed, when generators lost power, when electricity hit resistance, Tesla went back to what really mattered. Sitting alone in silence, he told himself, "The source isn't in the machine. The source is inside me." For Tesla, no outside system was truly independent. Every energy source depended on something deeper, something more universal. He saw that source as an inner core, a quiet power that never runs out, needs no fuel, and only turns on when your soul is in balance. Many called this the soul. Tesla didn't always use that word openly, but he described it well. Inside us is a spark that comes from neither body nor thought. It's older and eternal, and as long as it stays in tune, nothing can stop its energy. This core isn't limited by time, space, or matter. It's a constant energy source vibrating quietly deep inside you. Science can't fully explain it yet, but it senses it. We see people beating illnesses no one can explain, staying creative and clear-headed for years, or finding peace in chaos. When you look for why, it's not in the body or brain, but in an energy that never runs out. Tesla touched that source himself, and that's why he could work without eating, walk for hours without tiring, build without sleep, and inspire without trying. He didn't rely on the world, he fed on this energy field. And that field never runs dry, it just needs one thing: inner harmony. When what you think, feel, and do all match up, that energy source turns on. Then you don't live from your reserves, you live from the core. That's why some people with little still radiate abundance, while others with everything feel empty. It's not about what you have, it's about how you vibrate. This endless energy generator isn't in a machine or a tower. It's in your balance, your inner peace, your connection to what's real inside you. It doesn't depend on approval, results, or outside conditions. Tesla didn't need fuel to create. He needed silence, vision, and that inner flame, one that poverty, forgetfulness, or betrayal couldn't put out. This is the energy of the soul. You can't measure it, but you can feel it, share it, and recognize it in someone's eyes, voice, and presence. If you keep that flame burning, you'll be unstoppable, not because of pride, but because you're connected to a source that never quits. Next, we'll talk about what happens when you stop chasing and start merging with the field itself, when you no longer need to attract because you already vibrate as one with everything. But for now, remember, every machine can fail except the one built from a soul living its truth, and if you find that, you'll never lack anything. Chapter 11. Merging with the field, becoming one with the whole. Tesla said the universe isn't out there. What we see as solid matter is just a trick of our senses. True reality lives where most don't look, in the field, not a physical field, but a universal vibration that holds every shape, every feeling, every possibility. I don't invent, Tesla said about his creativity. I just connect to the field and listen to what's already there. People thought he meant inspiration, but he was talking about resonance. Everything that exists, thoughts, ideas, chances, connections, is already in the field. You don't have to create it or pull it in from somewhere else. You just need to match its frequency, and then it happens naturally. Union, creation, perfect timing. This isn't magic, it's physics and consciousness. Tesla knew when your inner field is in harmony, the outside world starts to reflect that back. It's no longer about struggling, pushing, or desperate searching. It's about merging with the whole. like a drop of water that isn't separate from the ocean because it's always been part of it. This state isn't about intense emotions. It's steady calm, a constant vibration, an active peace that doesn't change with the world around you. When you vibrate like this, you don't want from a place of lack, but from knowing. What matches your vibration comes to you, not because you asked, but because you're already in sync. Tesla never begged for fame, money, or praise. He knew his energy was stronger than his circumstances. Even when forgotten or ignored, he kept creating, kept receiving inspiration, stayed connected to the invisible flow that never left him. How do you get there? You don't buy it, study it, or beg for it. You remember it. You've always been part of this field. Noise, ego, and fear just made you feel separate. Separation is an illusion of vibration. When you let go of it, the field answers you. Then you don't have to chase anything. You recognize what's already yours by frequency. Tesla never felt alone, even when few supported him or understood him. He stayed connected, and that was enough. When you're merged with the field, loneliness fades. Everything speaks to you. Everything vibrates with you. Everything guides you effortlessly. But to reach that state, you must surrender the ego. Let go of control and pride. The field can't be controlled. It's honored, respected, and listened to. When your inner world is fully in sync, what Tesla experienced at the end of his life happens. Communion with the invisible. Then you don't just make things, you create reality. Next, we'll explore why these simple and powerful ideas were hidden for so long, who benefits when you forget your power, and how you can reclaim it. Remember this, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, and when you're in true alignment, the whole universe vibrates with you. Chapter 12, The Final Cover-Up. Why was this truth hidden? On January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla was found dead in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. He was 86 years old, living alone, with no money and no fame. That same day, before his body was taken away, government agents entered his room and seized all his papers, plans, notebooks, codes, and notes. Everything vanished. Officially, they said these materials weren't important, but that was the biggest lie. What Tesla left behind wasn't a bomb, weapon, or million-dollar patent. It was a key to inner freedom and energy independence, and that was something they couldn't allow. For centuries, power has been built on one thing: dependence. Dependence on fuel, religion, money, leaders, and systems. Tesla's ideas were the opposite. He talked about a universe where energy is free, where consciousness creates, where the soul vibrates, and where no one needs permission to live fully. That was dangerous, not because it was false, but because it was true. Tesla's ideas threatened the elites. If you don't need wires, why pay for energy? If you can create your own vibrations, why depend on the system? If you can get knowledge straight from the field, why follow outside masters? The real threat wasn't his machines, it was a free mind. Tesla wasn't destroyed because of mistakes. He was silenced because of his clarity, because he lived outside the usual pattern, refused to sell out for fame, and believed science and spirit could be one. When they realized they couldn't control him, they did what they always do with those who see too much. They isolated him, called him crazy, erased him from history, and left him to die alone with no witnesses. But they couldn't kill his signal. Some things can't be destroyed, only hidden, waiting for new minds to feel them, hearts to remember them, souls to receive them. And that time is now. You're not reading this by accident. Your energy field connected with it, meaning something inside you already knew it. And that's what the elites fear most. A person who remembers their true frequency. Because if you remember the energy is inside you, they can't control you with scarcity. If you know thoughts send signals, they can't scare you into submission. If you understand your body vibrates, you don't need anyone telling you how to live. And when you reconnect with the field, you become free, not by force, but by awareness. That's Tesla's gift. Not a secret formula, but a message. A field of information that only activates when you're ready. If this reached you, it's because you're ready. That's why they hid it. Because if you remember, no one can control your energy. In the epilogue, we'll pause to reflect. Not to look back, but to look inside. Tesla's legacy isn't stuck in the past. It lives in the field, and now in you. There's no monument, no statue, no grave that holds his work, because Tesla wasn't just an inventor, he was a human antenna tuned to the field. His greatest work wasn't his machines, patents, or experiments. It was the signal he left burning in the invisible field, waiting for a future mind to receive it. That mind is yours. Everything you've read here isn't just a story. It's a transmission, a code, a download. Not to admire, but to remember. That the universe responds to vibration, not effort. That clear thought creates. That a coherent body sends energy. And that an awake soul generates reality. Now you know you don't need permission to create. You don't have to beg for energy, love, or clarity, because you were never truly disconnected. You just forgot how to tune yourself. And if you've come this far, something inside you is already vibrating differently, more aligned, clearer, stronger, and that can't be undone. The spark Tesla held quietly for decades, the one they tried to snuff out and hide, now ignites in you. You decide if you let it burn. Don't look outside for light that's already inside you. Don't wait for approval to speak your truth. Don't let fear block your signal. Remember, the energy you seek is you when you're in tune. Tesla died without applause, but his vibration wasn't silenced. What vibrates with truth becomes a field, and the field never forgets. Now breathe, feel, tune your frequency, and send your signal. Tesla's body is gone, but his signal is still alive. And if you're hearing it, it's because it's already alive inside you.